Hi,
Hello
welcome
to Twitch.
and Stitch. I'm Marsha.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're so excited. Go ahead, who are you?
I'm Priscilla.
I'm also known as Fairy Little on Ravelry and Instagram. And Scylla is...
I'm Scylla__P on Instagram, and I'm Pudscilla, Pudscilla, on Ravelry!
Hooray! She's on Ravelry. She's joined our group and everything. It's so exciting.
She's trying even a moderator. Thanks, Mar.
You're welcome.
I have the power!
You do. So that's fabulous.
It is fabulous. It's gonna be wonderful.
So it's been about 3 weeks.
Has it been that long? That was only about 2.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yes, we did on Friday. So, yeah.
3 weeks, yeah.
It's been about 3 weeks. It's been a busy August.
It has been. It has been.
It has been.
Scylla's been working on her thesis like a mad woman.
Lots of thesis writing happening, which is good because then I'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to be a normal person again.
Well, you get to be a person. I don't know about normal, but
Oh,
you're so cute.
so are you.
I love you.
So since our last podcast, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe this isn't since our last podcast, but Marsha got new glasses,
I did, yeah.
and I love them. I think
do
they're
too.
fabulous.
I've always worn glasses. I usually wear contacts. But this allergy season has driven me a little bit insane. So I got some new glasses that actually, because it's usually really sunny here, they turn into sunglasses outside, so they darken up, which my other glasses never did. So I'd have to wear contacts and then sunglasses on top. And that's why I wear sunglasses most of the time.
Yeah. Right now it's not a problem though because we live in the Smokanogan.
The Smokanogan, yeah.
The Smokanogan.
It's so smoky outside.
For all your Smokanogan needs.
Oh my goodness. It feels like it's like fogged right in. And that doesn't help my allergies at all
no.
either. There's been an advisory, a smoke advisory for 3 days, and so we haven't left the house very much at all unless it's like really
I haven't
necessary.
left since Thursday evening.
Yeah, because it just got socked right in, and it's really bad. The health department, what are they called?
Department of Air Quality, or the health department, but it has to do with the air quality.
Yeah.
Has it at a +10 rating here.
Mm-hmm.
Our weather, when you look at the weather, for Penticton it says smoke. For Kelowna it says haze.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't even know those were weather types.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and so there has been lots and lots of wildfires around. There was a community about 2 hours away. It was totally cut off because of fires, and it part of the a campsite and part of the town burnt. But I think that's under control now.
yeah, that one seems to be under control.
What we're getting smoke from is we live in the Okanagan Valley, and the Okanagan Valley goes down to the Washington border, where it turns into the Okanogan Valley. They spell it differently.
They changed some A's to some O's.
Yeah, so as soon as you cross the border, it's not the Okanagan, it's the Okanogan. So, yeah, and there is a fire that's quite large and out of control in the States that is coming to the border, and there's a lot of Canadian firefighters and stuff who've gotten involved in that one. But most of the smoke that we're seeing here is from that fire, and we actually have more smoke here from that fire than the States is seeing from the same fire.
Yeah.
Because of how the wind is carrying it up
There's
the
a
valley.
northward wind that's...
Yeah, and it's pulling it straight through the valley, and it is a valley, so it's just like sunk right down, and the sun is shining above it. It's not raining or anything, but
Our postal workers were actually given masks this morning.
yeah.
To do their job with, because they still have to deliver the mail.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a song, the mail must
Yeah.
go through.
And-
Even if it rains or shines, the mail
And my
must go
car
through.
was covered in ash this morning.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's bad. I had to open the door this morning. The smoke outside smelled better than the 4 days of being locked in the house with sick people. And I was sick all weekend, so I spent the weekend in bed. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. One of our little girls went to summer camp for the first time. So we went to pick her up and we stayed and camped for a couple days, and I got some good knitting done in there.
I love it. It's always a success when there's good knitting that's gotten done.
I know. Successful camping trip when the knitting is completed. So yeah, so Stella, what are you working on?
I am working on, what did you call it? The blanket that never ends? The blanket of forever.
That's what I called it.
And so my blanket of forever, I haven't been doing a lot of work on it lately, but I'm on ball number 3, and so this is what it looks like. I feel like Al at Home Improvement.
It's not Al. It's the neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, the neighbor wasn't Al. You're right. The neighbor. Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah.
Wilson. I feel like Wilson.
He died recently.
I know. I heard that. It was on the list of people who died that nobody noticed.
Oh yeah.
I felt bad for him. I would have noticed
You
if
did
I knew
notice.
he died. Well, after I read the list.
That's true.
But yeah, so it's the blanket of forever, and that is what I'm working on. I did cheat on my blanket a little bit and finish another project, which I was cheating on that project, which we'll talk about later. I'm just gonna talk about my monogamy.
Okay.
I'm not monogamous anymore. Okay, that's it. Marsha, what are you working on?
Oh, well. Welcome to the Marsha Show.
Right. I hope you guys have time.
Okay, so I'm working on a few things. I am working on a sweater for one of my girls. I dyed this yarn and it is coming up a lot more pink than it actually is. It's more orange. It's like yellow and pink. And you know what? I didn't notice that pooling until, like, you can see those lines.
I like it.
But you can't see that when you look straight at it.
No,
Can
you can't. It does not look like it pools when you look at it, but the light of the...
But that light, you can sure see it pooling. But yeah, it's... Oh, and you can see where the second skein got added too. You can't see that here.
No, you can't.
That's interesting. That's cool. Yeah, so I don't care about pooling. I like it. I dyed up the yarn myself. I used it's very sheepy wool. It's a camping sweater, so that's why I'm not too fussed about pooling and like whatever. It's a camping sweater. We're going to be going camping in September, and we like to go out when it's not quite as hot. So this is a perfect rustic layering sweater, and it is my own design. I just
started knitting.
Fairly straightforward. I took the girls' measurements, and I started knitting, and I figured out my gauge, and so I figured out how big it needed to be to fit. Now this is going to be a cardigan. I am going to steek it, and what I've done is, where is it? Okay, so this is where I'm going to steek it. What I did is all of the extra yarn. It's a knit one, purl one, rib, but in the area that I'm going to steek, I knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I knit straight 4, and then I'm going to steek it right in between those, fold it over, sew it up, and Bob's your uncle.
And for those of you who don't know what steeking is she's just gonna cut a hole in the middle of the sweater.
I am, straight up. Yeah, and it doesn't scare me because I, for some reason, and I've realized this over the last little while, I'm not super emotionally attached to my knitting. Like, I'm not. Like, I used to think I was a finished object person. Yeah. But I feel like it's actually more of the process, and I'm not totally attached to the end thing. So if I don't like it, I can rip it out. Like, there's certain things that I'm knitting on, and there's another thing that I'm knitting on that I'm gonna get to that is gonna get frogged. But that one I love so much that it's hard for me. I just have to. I'm gonna be re-knitting it. But that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm a knit and give away. Like, I don't hold on to anything I've knit.
Yeah. So, I'm still knitting on my Okanagan Orchard. It has taken a bit of a back seat right now. That's how far I am. I don't know if I've knit on it since the last time you saw it, actually, because...
I think you have. I think you've...
but it's taken a back seat only because I started designing something new. And that's what I worked on my whole weekend of being sick. I pulled out some very nice yarn, and it is, I just got it. It's Undead yarn in the Dino colorway.
It's called Undead.
Yeah, Undead yarn. In the
That's
Dino
awesome.
colorway, it's 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. It's 437 yards. It's a fingering weight, 100 grams. And it is this gorgeous, gorgeous purple. And
It's
it's
really
so soft.
So your purple yarn is undead? I didn't know that.
I know. Yeah.
It's
And
alive!
I think it's the Dino colorway from, I want to say, what's that cartoon? Where they...
Flintstones?
Dino. Purple. I think so.
Oh, yeah, Dino was a purple dinosaur.
I don't want to just make stuff up, but it could be. I could be totally wrong. And
You know what?
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna go with that.
But you know what? If you're wrong, you're just making connections that other people haven't made before.
That's right.
You're not wrong.
So I'm designing a shawl. The other one is like a cowl poncho-esque shawl that's very large and it uses a lot of yarn. And
So it's a big commitment too.
yeah, it's lace weight. This is fingering weight, and I was trying to make something that would just use one skein. I don't know how to design little things, is what it comes down to. So I've pulled out some other yarn that has more yardage, and I'm going to be playing with the pattern a little bit and downsizing it a little bit, just so that it will fit a skein, but it'll be a larger skein. So this one doesn't have, I played yarn chicken, and I've cast on and
yarn chicken.
cast off like, I've run out of yarn like 4 times and ripped it back. This yarn, okay, let's talk about the yarn for a second. This yarn is beautiful. It is so soft. It can withstand being a prototype of mine. So it's working very hard. It's so soft. The cashmere in it is just brilliant, and I really love it. I will be ordering more yarn from her shop, and it is so, I don't know, it's light, and it's definitely like one of my favorite yarns now. So don't go and buy it all, because I'd like to buy some more, but you should try it.
There's a real question we need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
How does it smell?
Oh. It doesn't really have a smell. Okay, but here's the thing. It didn't have a smell before. It does now. But that is because my 7-year-old came in to my bedroom.
Oh yeah.
And I was laying in bed because I was in bed all weekend. And she sprayed me with perfume while I was knitting on it. So it smells a bit like the perfume, but I'm also still nasally. So I don't, I just smell it lightly. Do you smell it?
It smells like Snuggles.
It smells like Snuggles. Yeah.
It does. It smells like Snuggles.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because you've been knitting in bed,
Could be.
but it smells like Snuggles.
So this yarn isn't quite enough for this pattern, so I've pulled out some Barocco Folio, and it is,
I think you just pull out high-end yarn. I'm just gonna pull out some high-end yarn.
yeah, it's really nice. It's alpaca, I do believe, alpaca and rayon, but it's super soft, so it's comparable, and it's an off-white. I don't know if you can see. The light is a little bit bright here. There. That gives you a better idea. Oh, I'm just gonna leave that like that. Hopefully it doesn't make the
No, I think that's good.
view all shaky. Yeah, so I think it's gonna look really nice for the edging portion. It wasn't feeling done, so I tried to cast it off, and I was like, it doesn't look done to me. It looks like I ran out of yarn. So I was like, oh, it looks great, but yeah. So I'm
Marsha's
still
a little bit fancier than I am.
Yes, I'm still working on it. I'm going to be playing with the pattern a little bit. I have 3 test knitters, and that's how many I would like. I had about 7 last time for my last project, and although it's really nice to have lots of people knitting on it, not very many of my test knitters got done, and some are still working on it, and some I haven't heard from for a while, so I'm going with these 3, and then I can kind of focus a little more directly with them and get the bugs worked out maybe a little bit quicker. And also it's a shawl, so it will knit up faster, so that's coming along. Well, I've got lots of ideas for lots of different shawls, and I tried to throw all the ideas in this one at the beginning, and then I pulled it back out. So it's coming along, and I'm really happy with it. So that's on the needles. I also am working on my brown stone, and this pattern is for my husband. And I've gotten quite a bit of knitting done on this. I was on the first sleeve, and then I put it away because there was prettier things to knit. And so I am on, I've done both sleeves, and I've got most of the body done. So both sleeves. Now this yarn, the yarn it's knit with in the pattern is more of a wool, so it's got more stretch to it. So I didn't know how much this was going to stretch. I'm using the Barocco Remix, and it has quite a bit of cotton, but it's nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen. So I didn't know how much it was going to stretch. So what I did is I took one of the sleeves, and after I knit it to what I thought would work, I blocked it. And the reason I blocked it is because if it was going to stretch 2 miles, then I'd know that the pattern was closer to where I needed to be. I had to add about 2 inches to what the pattern said, and then, so this is what the pattern said, and it was still much too short for my husband's arms. So what you can see here, that once it was blocked, it even grew farther. So it was a good thing that I added those couple of inches, or else it would be this length blocked, which would definitely be too short for his arms. So I blocked it. Now I have a good idea as to how much length I need to add to the body to gain as much growth as I need, because it didn't grow like a wool would. So that is, it's coming along. I really like this yarn. It feels softer worked up than it does in the balls. Like,
oh
feel
yeah,
it in the ball, and then
yeah. Her husband asked her to make him a sweater that wasn't itchy.
yeah. So I've got a couple ideas that are. I just purchased another pattern. I can't remember what it's called, but the designer's from Ireland.
Nice.
It is difficult.
I feel like anything designed from Ireland should be knit in green.
Yeah, this one's not from Ireland. But I find that there's not a lot of sweaters for men. Like nice, not boxy sweaters. So
that's kind of true.
I also got the zipper for another sweater that I knit for Nick that I have not put in, but I will show it to you once it's actually put in. What do I have in this one?
Da-da-da.
Oh, that is my Okanagan Orchard again in the first one. Okay, and can you pass me that bag over there?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have knit on these socks as well. These are just vanilla. I finished the first one, that one's sitting there, and I started the next one. The last time I was working on this, I was just about to go into the pink, I think. That sounds bad. Just about to get into that color, and then do the ribbing, and then, so I've done that much on top of that. So that's on my Sock It To Me yarn. And this yarn, it's a single ply. And I don't think I would knit socks with it again. It's pretty splitty. I have to pay attention when I'm knitting with it. And it would make a really nice shawl, I feel.
Can I touch it?
Yeah. There's nothing, like, it's just the process of knitting with it. Like, I use really sharp needles. I use high sharps. So they're super pointy. And they split the yarn and it makes it poof up. And I don't know if you can see. It's hard to see. But it makes it poofier and not as even. I would knit like a larger gauge shawl with this yarn for sure.
Yeah, it isn't a very nice yarn.
But I don't think I would knit socks with it again. And it was actually to the point where I was going to rip them out because I wasn't enjoying the knit as much as I feel like I should.
It's all about the knit, about the knit, about the knit.
Yeah.
No finished product.
And let me see. Oh, that's a finished object there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be ripping out. And it makes me a little bit sad. It is my Pride and Prejudice.
Why are you ripping out your Pride and Prejudice?
Okay. So on the last episode, you might remember, I'm pretty far on it too. You might remember I said that I started adding the buttons to the wrong side.
Yes.
And I don't care because you're not the boss of me. Well, I was like, I don't understand how I did that because it's pretty straightforward. And what happened was I decided that the wrong side was the right side, and this is now on the inside, and because it's a purling detail and this is the knit detail.
Oh, did you make a fatal error?
Purling detail is supposed to be on the outside, and the straight knit one that you would think was on the outside is actually on the inside for this portion. And so the design it creates at the bottom is completely lost on the outside. And
but it's really pretty on the inside.
Well, it's lost because it's the wrong stitch on the inside too. Like you can see a little bit of where the pattern should be, but it should be dynamic. It should be more dynamic than it is. So I love this pattern. I'm going to re-knit it in this exact same yarn. But I just, that's the thing that I can't.
You're not ready to rip it out yet?
Yeah, it's still in timeout because this one I am emotionally attached to because I love it so much, and I just don't want to rip it out and then not cast it back on right away, and that makes me nervous. And I was thinking about just pulling the needles out and casting it on and then catching it up to this before I rip this out. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, I do.
Totally
do. I'm the same way when I rip something back. I have to get it back to the place it was before I ripped it, before I'm allowed to put it down again. So I made a mistake on something I was...
That would take me a couple days to catch it up. I can't rest until it's caught up. So that's on the needles as well. So I think, yes. So my new design, I'm working on that. I should have it to my test knitters by next week, and then released. I want to give them probably 2 weeks to knit it, so I would say probably mid-September is when I'll be looking at releasing it. I want to definitely show you guys because I'm going to keep this one. It's not exactly what the end product is going to look like, but I want to keep all of the incantations of it so that you guys can see the process for me, because I don't I don't just knit the perfect thing. Like,
sorry, I was just thinking, I was comparing that. I'm like, all the different layers, because it's an iterative process. And I was just thinking about my thesis and my search strategy and how I do the same thing. Every time I add new search terms or I change my search strategy, I save my old search strategy so I can see where I came from and how it developed over time.
yeah,
It's the same, right?
kind of, yeah. Sure, it's the same thing. Yeah, so I want to keep all of the different versions of it so that I can show you all of them so that you can see where the process came and went, and like the very first version of it.
The prototype.
The prototype got to the cast on and the 3 rows in, and then it was done. I ripped it out. But I think that the journey that this design is taking is going to be very interesting to see, like the first and then the next one, because I already have ideas as to what's going to be different in the next one.
That's really
and trying to make it work with the yardage of a single skein like that.
You know, here's an idea.
What's that?
This could be one pattern. Then you could modify and change, and that could be a totally different pattern with some similar concepts. Because I like the spots that
I don't like.
that you don't like. And I mean, everybody has different tastes, right? Like, my blanket is like, I can write the pattern up for this too, but it's got some ribbing and then it's got some straight knit, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an idea. It's a something.
It's a something. It's an idea.
I love you.
So, what are you working on? Huh. I never thought of doing it like that.
You're such a dork. Scylla!
Such a pretty color. Give them time. Okay, moving on.
Do you have any finished objects?
I do! It's very exciting. I have a finished object. So you may remember back in, was it March or April?
March comes before April, so yeah, I'd say March.
I think it was March. So in March, we did a cable along. It was quite exciting. We really enjoyed it. It might have been April, but I think it was March. And so I started knitting a toque. And when I got to cables, I stopped because I chickened out. I got terrified and scared and didn't know what to do or how to move on. So I didn't do it. But lo and behold, in the last month, I finished my Kathleen, which I've showed you as a uncompleted object many, many times. And I showed you it before I even started many, many times. So
it's knit with Malabrigo.
It's knit with Malabrigo. It's beautiful. It's a colorway that's browny green. I don't know its color, but look at Malabrigo. You can wear it as a...
Yeah, no, wear it like this. That's good.
You can wear it as an elf hat. You can wear it as a...
Scylla's got very tight gauge, so hers
slouchy hat.
definitely isn't as
I do
loose, and she has a small
I have
head.
a very small head and a very tight gauge, and then you can wear it the other way is a fold down and like a beanie kind of toque. So as you can see, you can wear it all the ways, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it loves my head.
And she wasn't so scared.
No, cabling's easy. For all of you out there who are afraid to try cabling, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's super, super easy.
And this pattern is very intuitive.
It is. I stopped actually even checking things off.
Yeah. And it's like, it's very, cabling looks a lot more difficult than it is because it looks like super intricate. But the thing is that it's only one row of pattern.
Yeah.
And then it's one row of pattern every so many rows. I'm not going to give that away, but because it's a purchase pattern. But, you know, it's super intuitive. So it's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed doing it. I love cabling. I wanted to rip out the blanket of forever and throw cables all the way through it. But then I decided not to. because I'm 3 balls in.
3 balls.
I'm starting I'm on ball number 3, and that just seems like a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's really nice.
yeah, and the straight knit is growing on me. Marsha! What have you finished? Do you have any finished objects?
Yes, I finished Zelda.
It's so pretty. Look at
I'll
that.
stand up so you can see it. It goes with my plaid pants perfectly. Oh my goodness. So,
Right?
So-
It's so pretty.
it's supposed to have crinoline inside the arms.
I think it's one of the prettiest things she's ever knit. I like it that much. What are you doing?
It's supposed to have crinoline
Oh my goodness, she has puffed sleeves!
inside the arms. I'm like Anna Green Gables with my puff sleeves. There. What? What?
It's just so pretty. You're just so strong.
I know. So I didn't
feel
put
royal.
in the crinoline. There.
So she can use balls of yarn. Shoulder pads!
So I didn't put in the crinoline because I have fairly broad shoulders all on my own.
You make my shoulders look tiny.
Yeah, so this pattern did take a lot of fin dangling, and I did have a sent question to the designer. And then after that, I just kind of wung it.
I think it's gorgeous.
The sleeves follow the basic design, but I didn't do the decreases how she did them. And I didn't do any notes on my project page because I didn't.
And that's all we have to say
And
about
that's all I
that.
have to say about that. And it's green and white polka dot ribbon, which I really like. I'm gonna leave my shoulder pads in.
You should. I'm leaving my toque on.
Okay, and so the inspiration for Scylla to finish her toque, or beanie as the Americans say. I don't know what the English say. What do the English call it? Just a
A
hat?
woolen cap.
A cap.
A woolen.
Woolen cap. Is that true?
Are we making stuff up?
She's making things up, isn't she? Okay, so we were camping and I pulled this out. I pulled out all my works in progress and I was on a rampage to get it done.
You can see already she knits a lot looser than I do.
Yeah, a lot looser. So this is it folded up. And I didn't do the repeats as many because I'm not the biggest fan of that. And also this is quite loose on me. So the folding it up is better. This is knit with Woolen Vine yarn, and it is, I can't remember what the colorway is.
Wow, our tastes are so prominent in this moment.
I really like this yarn. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, me
Right?
and my
You and well, my shirt's
Orange.
got puff sleeves too, but it's not orange. But like even colors,
But it's not
right?
orange.
Like look at the colors.
I know.
I'm like, I'm gonna knit
This hat
a
goes with
blue
my
brown
outfit.
blanket and a brown hat. And you're like, purple! Look at
Purple.
all the purple! It's so
I know.
purpley pretty.
So
And orange.
this was a nice pattern to knit for the fun of knitting it. It is not, and the yarn is brilliant. Really enjoy the yarn. The style of the hat on my head in all of its incantations is not super my style. So I'll probably be gifting this for a Christmas present. So, but it was really fun and it was super quick. Like once I got down to it, I was up to it. And I also finished these socks. They're my Hermione's Everyday Socks. These were inspired by Kay Jones, who said,
Okay.
hey, try the heel flopping gusset. And I did, and it was beautiful, and I loved it. And these socks fit the best out of any socks. Sorry, my dog's shedding, and so we got fur on here.
Is that why you're like putting it all on me?
A lot, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And look how bright they are. Like, I'm full of the bright colors.
And you may notice
This-
they're also purple.
It's Patton's Croy yarn, and it is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And actually, I only had, after I did up the toe on this one, I only had a piece of yarn that long left. And I kept it somewhere, but, oh, it's up there.
You kept it?
Yeah, because I was going to show it, but I'm not going to show it. I think I showed it in the photos at the beginning.
Yes, you did.
So, yes, this yarn is a lot of fun because it's different colors. So, it makes my happy. Oh, you know what? I forgot.
What did you forget?
I forgot a work in progress. I'm going to go to that quickly. I'm doing a Laura Neal pattern. The Stree sock, but I'm just plain knitting. So it's the heel, the toe, and the cuff. That's the big thing. And I am knitting this out of Very Little in Ireland by You Who Knits, who is Georgina. And this yarn is a lot of fun to knit. I'm really enjoying the texture in the yarn, and I really like it.
You know what I just noticed about it?
What?
So,
Goes with my outfit?
no.
Oh.
So, the blue, there's a little piece of me, the purple's a little piece of you, and the two-toned green is Ireland! Yeah, that's right. I made that connection. It wasn't loosely based at all
You
on
made
anything.
it all about Scylla.
No, I made it about me a little bit.
And I'm using Hiya Sharps double pointed needles. I switched back to double points. It is quite a bit quicker for me to do double points instead of magic loop. The reason I switched to magic loop in the first place is because I was getting ladders in my double pointed knitting for quite a while and I couldn't get rid of it, and now I'm using the double pointed needles on this and I'm not getting any laddering, so it was good to just take a break and come back to them. And they're super nice needles and I really love them. They're my go-to needles because I'm allergic to nickel, but they're also really sharp, really pointy, and they are super smooth, so I'm enjoying those. So if you want some Very Little in Ireland colorway, Georgina will dye you up some. You just go to her shop and it's on Etsy. It's youwhoknits.etsy.com. She is super lovely, and she is, I hope she's feeling better. She was feeling ill for a little while. I think I caught her cold.
Oh.
And this is another finished object. So this is a sweater of my own design for my other daughter. And I dyed this wool as well. It's a very rustic wool. And this was the first one I did, and took her measurements and then knit and got what my gauge was and then knit the amount of stitches I needed. One of the sleeves I've knit probably twice or three times. So because it's wool, I knit it super tight, so when I put it on her arm, it was like skin tight. She's like, ugh, and just barely could get it to her armpit. And then I was like, honey, we're just gonna block it and it will fit you perfectly. So I blocked it and fits her perfectly. Perfectly. I blocked the arms fairly aggressively. They're still flat from being blocked.
She's got littler arms than you.
Yeah. But hey, look.
Small arms.
I blocked it outside in the sunshine and you can see a line. Look at that. It got sun bleached.
Wow.
Holy moly. I didn't even know.
Look at that.
So don't leave your knitting out in the sun.
Especially on something you've dyed yourself that you've only washed once.
Yeah. I'm not fussed. It's a camping sweater. Whatever.
It's gonna get sun bleached.
It's gonna get sun bleached, yeah. It will happen. The sun was very shiny that day. It was on the covered deck too. Because
wow.
I put it outside to dry. And she's picked her buttons because I made it a button band. So here's her buttonholes that are worked into
I could totally see her with buttons.
the button band. And she's picked these cute ones that are like little flowers.
Of course she
with
did.
like purple and turquoise colors. So yeah, I think it's going to be super cute when it's totally finished. That's interesting. That disheartens me a little bit that it's got sun bleached.
Yeah, but I think when you wash it, I don't think you'll notice.
No. I don't think I'll notice it when it's on her either. That's interesting how much though. Like I noticed that the blue really came out, but in the front, but yeah, that's quite dramatic, hey? There are stripes. There are blue stripes or turquoise stripes in here.
Oh, so it like the purple bleached out.
Yeah, it's the purple,
Oh.
and you can see the blue base more.
Yeah, I see it now.
And there was more blue in the front anyway because of how the pooling worked. But you can see in the back that it was darker, right? Like the sleeves are knit with different yarn too, but here, let's pull this back here. So that's kind of there is kind of the same area as there. That's what it should look like. It's not super bad.
No.
But yeah, so that's my other finished object. So I just knit like a crazy person. I was getting close to my, what I thought was going to be my exam date, so everything had to be knit.
It was funny because the day she booked her exam, she's like, okay, I booked my exam, now I have a date. It's 8 p.m. She's like, I think I'm going to go to bed early or else I'm going to study. 8 p.m. I lose Marsha for about half an hour. She comes upstairs about 8:30, 8:45 with yarn. Next thing you know, she's got her little girls out of bed to ask them to go with her back downstairs. She comes up at 9 o'clock, sends her girls back to bed, starts dyeing yarn. 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I thought you were going to bed. And she's like, eh. I'm like, do you need to study? She's like, eh. And she started, so she dyes the one yarn, and that was the orange pink one.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that one's drying, she starts knitting the blue sweater. Same night.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't drying when I started knitting it. It was
Oh, it was boiling. It was
when I started
boiling.
knitting it when I cast on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Scylla,
Yes, Marsha?
I think you have some stash.
I do! So this is really exciting for me because I left work to pick some stuff up for our Christmas in July knit along for our winner, Christmas in July, which was Mary. Congratulations, Mary. I hope you got your package in time. And so while I was there picking up something for Mary, I had to pick something up for me. And it's been a while since I bought yarn, and normally I don't buy yarn unless I have a project to go with it, and so I officially have stash now. So I bought some more cables, because a few of my cables are being used in my Forever blanket. And I know that my Forever blanket's going to be something that I pick up and put down, and that's why I'm not going to be monogamous anymore. Yeah. Am I just going too far?
Blanket of forever.
Sorry, my blanket of forever. So anyway, I bought some more Addi Click interchangeable cables. So I've got those. This is really exciting to me. It's so pretty. Look how red it is. And it's so soft and it's chunky. And I bought 2 of these. It is 100% baby alpaca. It's Diamond Luxury Collection Baby Alpaca Sport. And it is 15 STS, 19 rows to 10 centimeters on 6mm needles. It's hand wash and lay flat to dry. I think that's the information I'm supposed to read. The color is 8755.
I love that color.
Me too. I love 8755. And the lot is 149479. So in case, ooh, I didn't check to see if they were
Do you know what the lot means?
No idea.
That's the dye lot. So that means that those two, they're the same, that number.
Oh, good.
So they were dyed together.
I didn't realize, I never checked the dye lot when I bought them. They were just on the shelf together. So, how pretty there. And I'm smelling them. And they smell like Auntie Ruth's house. So when we were kids, there was an older woman who is a friend of ours, grandma, who lived across the street from us. And we used to go play in her playhouse. And every once in a while, she'd bring us inside her house and show us her dolls. It sounds creepy, but it wasn't. She was a super nice older lady.
She collected Barbies.
She collected Barbies, kept them in their box.
She had all of them.
Gorgeous stuff. And she had like so many antiques, and she'd show us her dolls and her things if she was in a good mood and feeling up to it. And this yarn smells like her house. So if you buy this yarn and smell it, you'll get a piece of our childhood.
I don't feel like that smells like her house.
I feel like it does.
I feel like this side smells like lipstick. And this side smells... I don't know what that smells like.
Anyway, it's really pretty. Like, look at the color. So I'm thinking about knitting a cowl out of it.
What does it smell like? It smells like something.
No, this one smells like Andrew's house.
Okay.
They smell different.
They do smell different.
Yeah. That one smells like Andrew's house. This one doesn't.
You know what the awesome thing is we don't know which part of the alpaca this came from. So there could be a good reason why it smells different.
It smells so familiar. It's alpaca bomb. It's okay though because it's baby alpaca bomb.
Yeah.
So then there's those. Make me really happy. And then I bought these, and they're just so soft. This one's purple. And it is Papu Peru.
Yeah.
It's pure premium alpaca. Apparently I went on an alpaca spending spree. And it's 100% alpaca, spun in Peru. Its shade is 3102. I like 3102 too.
What is
Dialot 72.
Oh yeah, alpaca.
And so I have two of them, which have the same dialot. Thankfully, I really need to start checking that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also bought it in a black color. So it's a blacky gray and super soft. And
gray.
it's quite fibrous, but I like these colors. So I'm very much neutral earth tones. And this shade is 3110. And the last one I bought, which I fell in love with, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to do it yet. The wonderful woman at the yarn store, Sandy, she says that she gave me a pattern for a shawl, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be my very first shawl that I knit. And this is dyed in Canada. It's one of a kind. It's 115 grams, 4 ounces, 325 meters, or 355 yards, to be knit on 3mm needles, or US 2. It's 81% merino, 9% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's machine washable, and it's called Caspa.
Merino, cashmere, nylon. Yep, that's very nice.
And that's it. And it's super pretty. Like, look at all the colors. It's got some browns and some reds and some greens and some blues and some purples. So all colors that I love. Ooh, is there green in there? Ooh. Oh yeah, there's the greens. When you dig into the greens, you see like more dynamic greens. Look at that. I didn't even know that existed. Oh, look at that. So wonderful. I wonder what's inside the reds. Ooh, it's like more oranges. It's so pretty. All right, thank you for jumping down the rabbit hole with me. That are my new purchases. So it's very exciting. It's the most I've ever spent on yarn in my entire life in one sitting. So it was a big day for me. And I have a stash. Marsha.
Yes.
What about you?
I do have a little bit of stash, but I'm just going to talk about the folio, because this is stash.
Folio.
I actually picked up like a steel gray in this yarn, and a purple. The steel gray is for a sweater for my husband in the new pattern that I just picked up. And I'm not going to go into that because once I start knitting it, then it will be the thing that's on the show until it's done.
So it'll be on there for like at least an episode.
At least an episode. At least. So, yeah, I did pick up some folio. And I heard about folio from Who did I hear it from? It's another podcaster. This is terrible. I can picture her face.
An amazing, wonderful podcaster. Thank you, amazing, wonderful podcaster.
Oh my goodness.
It's because you watch them all.
I know.
Oh.
Knitting Den podcast.
I have alpaca
That's where I
fibers
heard
in my
about it
eyes.
from. Yeah, so we had a knit along last month and we did, let me pick that off you.
Thanks.
Scylla picked up the surprise gift
I did because it was Christmas and I wrapped it.
for Christmas in July. She wrapped it super cute. And we had a time constraint, so we sent it away extra special delivery. So that's gone, and hopefully she has it.
Hopefully.
She hasn't messaged me yet, but it was a very busy week for her, so I don't know. And what else? We are doing a shawl it all knit along right now, and we have quite a few people who have entered.
The shawl at all?
Yes. Now I don't have a prize as of yet. We haven't had a prize.
I like to give away the things I knit. I should give you something I've knit.
No.
It's nice yarn. They can repurpose it into something they like.
No, because I already have an idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright. Maybe Christmas. No, apparently my stuff isn't good enough to give away.
No, that's not it at all. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I purchased some, there was a dyer on Etsy who has stopped dyeing, so she was selling a bunch of her stuff. I'm not going to mention who it is because I feel like I want to go back and buy the rest of her things. The rest of her yards. So, but I bought a bunch, and so what I'm thinking is that I will potentially dye up a skein for the winner.
Ooh.
Of the shawl knit along. I have lace weight, sport weight, and fingering weight yarn to choose from. So I was thinking doing 100 grams and dyeing up, and what I'm thinking of doing is just checking out the winners Ravelry page and seeing what they have listed as their favorite colors and dyeing up a skein in those colors and sending that to you. So if that is of interest to you, please send me a note or comment in this episode thread. This is episode 16, isn't it? Or is it episode?
It might be 16.
Holy.
Wow.
Honestly, I thought Scylla would only make it to episode 15.
Honestly, I thought I'd only make it to episode 3.
So we're doing really well. We're still a Scylla.
It's true. It was a commitment I didn't expect. Because we did our 1 minute. I was like, do you want to? I'm like, yeah, this is fun.
That's so funny. So yes, so we have that's going to be coming to a close at the end of August, which is next week. So we'll be closing off that on the 30 days have September, April, June, and November, all the rest of 31. So 31st of August, we'll be closing that thread.
I love you. Because I do the exact same thing in my head.
So yeah, so we'll be closing that thread at the end of August, and then for our next episode, we will tell you who is the winner and dye up some yarn and send it your way. Now we are also going to be doing a knit along for September. We have them all booked out for the next. It's scheduled till January, I think. What our monthly knit alongs are. Now I spoke with an old Ravelry friend who was a podcaster. She was on. Her name is Carrie, and she was one of the duo from Two Tangled Skeins. And now it's Sue and Lynn who are running that podcast. But Carrie, actually, I done a test knit for her previously, and I bought some yarn that was a D-stash, and I knit a sweater out of that yarn. And our knit along for September is a double knit along. So the intent of that was to learn how to double knit. But so what I'm thinking, I'm just running it by everybody here, is that for September you can either do a swatch for just a small, it can be like 4 inches by 4 inches, a small square of double knitting, just to try the technique. I know Sockmatician has tutorials on double knitting and what that looks like.
Thank you, Sockmatician.
And so you can go over to his YouTube channel. It's called Sockmatician. And there's tutorials as to how to cast on and do simple patterns and things. And just try double knitting, but also I don't want it to be just double knitting in that sense. So I would like it also to encompass 2 colors, like doing, but a set of something.
So a double?
Right, so double. So like color work mittens or color work socks. So it's 2 colors, so that would encompass like the double knitting aspect, but also Fair Isle knitting with 2 colors, like how I do that, because that's how I knit Fair Isle. It's like,
so wait, so we're doing the double knitting technique on a thing that's a pair in 2 colors?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you're trying out the double knitting technique, just a swatch.
Okay. If you're not
trying out the double knitting technique, then I would like to see something of 2. So 2 mittens,
in 2 colors,
socks in 2 colors. So that is where that's where Carrie comes in. Carrie has generously donated a copy of her pattern that's called Pop of Cherries, and I helped test knit this pattern over a year ago.
These are the gloves that you...
The mittens.
Yeah,
so
the mittens.
It's like full mittens or fingerless mittens. And my husband absconded with them right away. He totally took them. But you can, I'm going to knit that pattern. But the winner of that draw is going to win a copy of that pattern, and it includes the full mittens and the fingerless version of it. So, hooray, thank you so much, Carrie, for donating that.
Thank you.
And there's some other things that are coming along for her as well, and I don't know how much to divulge, but I'm really excited for her. What's happening, and I think she's coming out with a shawl pattern. Her knitting is just amazing. She has astonishing lace work. She knits quickly, she knits efficiently, and she's got, her lace work is just amazing. It's perfection.
It's perfection.
Perfection. I idolize her a little bit.
Maybe just a smidge, hey?
I know. She's adorable. And she's a fabulous knitter. So that is for that. Yeah, so is there anything else?
I just want you to let you know Psychology with Scylla is returning now at our next episode. So
right now.
Right now, right this minute. Nope. So I know you've been excited and waiting all summer anticipatorily.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know, right? This is the kind of English that they require for a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
You've been anticipating it.
And it is coming. Your wait is almost over. Only this is final episode with no Psychology of Scylla returning this fall. So next episode.
Also, there are some things up in the air right now for November.
Yes.
Regarding this one over here.
Yes.
So, I think we'll just touch on it a little bit right now, but there's so much undecided right now.
That it's hard to make
I don't want to make anybody worry or stress about it, but Scylla might be moving in the fall.
I have a job opportunity that's come up that we're still in talks. It's not sure if it's going to go through or if I'm going to go through with it.
Yeah.
But there's been some serious talks in that direction.
Mm-hmm. And it's looking like November-esque time frame. Could be. It's not. There's nothing finalized right now.
No.
We don't know what that means as far as
this. It may
the
be
podcast. It might just be me for a little while till we figure something out. It might
with guest appearances of Scylla at like Christmas and
like we're
reading
just
break, and
we're just gonna we're pretty relaxed about this. So we're just gonna see how it goes. Okay, so that's it. I feel
yes, that's a little bit.
I
of
feel like I'm
foreshadowing.
forgetting something. But
it's been wonderful knitting with you today.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing our wonderful working on finished, completed, stashish projects.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm not articulate today.
No, words are not your friend.
No! Iterative process. No.
I love you. Yeah, I'm still... You're not making a lot of sense to me. I'm still not feeling well. What do you mean? I need a nap.
I think you do. This is the longest that you've had your attention on anything for
almost a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been pretty sick.
Oh, and also I, just a little quick aside, I went and saw the doctor today about my knee, and
yeah, for those who remember, when we were coming back from Ireland, those who didn't know, we were loading our luggage and Marcia did a faceplant off the curb at 3 a.m. in Toronto and completely smashed her kneecap.
Yeah. So I'm still dealing with the aftermath of that. I have to go and have an MRI done now because they feel like the cartilage was damaged. They have x-rayed it quite a few times to see if it's broken and if they missed a break or a fracture of any kind or whatever. I crushed a nerve in the side of my leg, and so I have a huge section of numbness, which the doctor says, there's a 90% chance that it will heal because it wasn't severed, it was just crushed. So
that's good news.
So that's good news. But I had to get a shot in my knee today, and now I have to keep my foot up and my knee relaxed for the next 2 weeks just so that it can heal properly and it doesn't cause any more damage. But I'm going to be having an MRI in the next probably 8 months. There's great things about the Canadian medical system is that I can go to the doctor 50 million times for the same thing and it's covered.
It doesn't cost anything extra.
I can go and have an MRI and that's covered and I don't have to pay for that stuff. But the thing is that it's a Canadian and BC medical system, right? So it's not just me waiting to go get an MRI. It's all of the people who in BC need an MRI, and all of the people from the area who need an MRI go onto a bulk waiting list.
So there's a lot of wait lists that are out there and done also on priority based on...
Yeah, and you can pay to have a private one done. And that was something that I looked into, but it's not...
Cost-benefit analysis says...
Yeah, I did a cost-benefit analysis on
right?
the value. So I'm waitlisted, so it looks like it'll be probably about 8 months before I get my MRI. So you got the computer. So I'm doing cost-basis analysis, and I'm just taking a look at the
it's the cost-benefit, right?
Versus benefit of getting
an MRI done now versus 8 months, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last week I spent quite a bit of time in the doctor's office.
And on the computer.
Yeah, no, in the doctor's office.
Running advanced statistics.
And getting x-rays and stuff. And yeah, so it looks like it's going to turn out fairly well. And the pain has gone down on my knee. And I think that's it. This episode wasn't as uppity, crazy as we usually are.
I thought it was good.
It is good. I'm feeling exhausted.
Well, your energy isn't showing.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, thanks again for watching.
Thank you.
And have a beautiful week.
Until next time.
Until next time.